Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the English broadcast of the Chinese LPL. I am Atlas, and this is Puffer Smithy, and we're straight into Champion Select with Energy Pacemaker taking on EDG for Energy Pacemaker's last chance here in the LPL before they head to the relegations. Of course, the last place team. We'll see whether they can pick up a victory here and at their final hurrah.
It's worth knowing that 4 teams go into relegations. Then, of course, the LSPL teams. There's 4 LPL teams, 4 LSPL teams. Some of these teams, Energy Pacemaker in particular, are not really odds on to make it back into the LPL, for at least in 2015. So this is their last hurrah in a lot of ways. It's going to be interesting to see if we see something different come through, because so far it's looking pretty similar. Yeah,
very similar, in fact. Raphael mixing things up just a little bit. But otherwise, it's going to be the Janna. The only change so far here for Energy Pacemaker.
And they're mousing over the Teemo. We haven't seen Teemo in a top league. We have seen it in the Challenger Series, so it'll be something different. Probably not going to see it this game. We can all hope for the off-meta Teemo, but not going to be the case.
Not this time, as Drizzle is going to go back to that Jarvan 4 there in the jungle, but it is going to be Sion in the top lane there for Amazing J. A different option, but can still run really fast when he presses R.
Not surprised to see Pawn back on Jinx duty. This is definitely the champion that he defaults to, and they run a lot of Jinx comps around Jinx Nunu. We've mentioned a couple of times, Pawn hasn't played his one Talon game of the season.
No.
He's got to play everything else. They give him a very long leash, do they, EDG? So credit to EDG on that one, but maybe he'll stay in the meta, but he's considering options, and with the Ghost Flash, it's probably TF time.
It might be TF time, of course. That is reminiscent of a Vladimir option here as well.
True.
But TF is what's going to be locked in here as Hecarim there for the top lane as well. Corey going to take another Smite Teleport champion because that's what's fun for him. As Mako has locked in that TF, but now it is going to be the Vladimir Hobbit on the other side. Raphael thinking about picking that one up. A lot of consistent damage, but will find it difficult to follow a Twisted Fate around the map.
I was going to say very kiteable as well, and there's a lot of speed coming through from this team comp in general. Probably safer to go for the Azir. Not an ideal matchup for the Azir, but definitely can do fine, as Azir seems to do in almost every matchup.
Yeah.
It's nice to see him back in the meta because the Emperor's Divide is such an interesting ability, especially when the bouncy castle starts between Gnar and all the other abilities. But Azir is their lock-in. Not necessarily going to be able to control TF, and the first Destiny, it's what we always come back to, could be telling.
Yeah, and we'll see whether that is going to come through. But of course, it's Pawn, so he'll probably be able to make it work irrespective because, I mean, he played Kassadin into the same matchup, looked like it was going horribly at the beginning, and then got a quadra kill out of nowhere. So.
Well, I mean, the random quadra kill doesn't really give us a lot of analytical data about how strong this Kassadin is. Most champions that get a random quadra kill are pretty strong. But,
generally going to do pretty well.
Generally going to do pretty well. Kassadin still going to be a late game hyper carry, however many units they have on the Riftwalk. Low cooldown blink, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Doesn't matter exactly quite how far you're going to be going on that Rift Walk, but he's certainly made his resurgence, but not this game. It's going to be the Twisted Fate here instead, and we'll see how the Horsey goes in the top side of the map here as well as Koro tries his hand at another Smite Teleport champion. Of course, Mako back on the Annie there as well, another terrifying champion. The thing is that Deft now on more of a late-game scaling hypercarry here with the Jinx, as opposed to the Sivir, who can be very powerful throughout the mid-game. So we may not see such a shutout here from EDG early on.
I mean, Jinx in general has been super strong in this meta. Another tank buster late-game hypercarry. Jinx is probably, at this point, Deft's most trademark champion.
Yeah.
So strong on that champion. Excellent understanding of range. Even manages to get into rocket range behind structures or walls to get, damage that just can't be traded with. So I'm not surprised to see him bring it back, use it all the way through their winning Demacia Cup performances. And again, it doesn't show anything because everyone already knows, Atlas, that Deft's pretty damn good at Jinx.
Yeah, pretty damn good at Jinx. Pretty damn good at the majority of AD carries here as well. Has recently picked up the Kalista, and just to demonstrate the fact that Deft, yes, can play Kalista to a very high level. But, we'll see what happens come playoffs here as well because, of course, you have to think that things are going to be held fairly close to the chest. But this game is definitely getting underway, so let's hop onto the Rift. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, our final game of the evening. EDG taking on Energy Pacemaker for the second time tonight. EDG managing to pick up the win in pretty commanding fashion. The surrender coming through at about 34 minutes into the game. I say about, exactly 34 minutes into the game. As Energy Pacemaker now are invading fairly deep here. Shu wandering pretty quickly. That Tailwind helping him out there. They get some deep wards down. just to see exactly what's going on. And the lane swap seems to be already on here for Energy Pacemaker.
And Pawn actually stayed for an extra potion, so obviously worried about the laning phase that's coming through in the TF versus Azir matchup. Very late Invader, I believe, is spotted out. So Clearlove decides that he wants to start around the red side, or the blue side of the red team of EP.
Yeah, and it's going to be the Krug start here for Amazing J as far as his suicide route is concerned.
They're trying to find Koro a camp to start on. He looked like he was going to start on the enemy blue buff. Actually finds Drizzle. The Smite War.
Oh, the Smite Wall could come through here as Drizzle does manage to lock down the Gromp, and now Koro definitely doesn't want to fight him.
And the jungler's just showing who's boss. We've had the Smite for longer. Damned if we don't get it down.
That's exactly right. Amazing J didn't opt for the teleport Smite top lane. I found that a little bit unfortunate there because, of course, Amazing J more than happy to do without his Smite here as well, as he's down towards the bottom side. Probably could use Flash if he wants to be face-checking maps like that. As Pawn is going to lock a blue card here and manage to keep pushing out this wave.
I mean, the worrying thing I'd say for Energy Pacemaker is it feels like the last game was definitely reminiscent of Energy Pacemaker at the start of the season when they went for those innovative strategies like, for example, the Scion starting Dragon level 1, picking up that buff, and then just not knowing how to finish out a game. Remember, Energy Pacemaker was significantly ahead in the previous game early before the random quadra kill coming on to Pawn. You feel like they kind of reverted back to a stage where they don't know how to close or build a lead. And against a team like EDG that can get back into very close games, you can't give them an inch.
No, they will definitely take a mile. Is that what we were looking for? That was the analogy?
I believe the analogy.
Nailed it. Pawn, though, is going to eat a Sand Soldier here as he throws some more blue cards around. And so far, there has been a fair bit of harass here. Raphael has been definitely strong as far as keeping Pawn down in the early stages of this lane with the Azir.
But he obviously respects the pressure coming through from Azir because it's not just a Boots 4 pot start or 4 biscuit start as it would be with the Master he's gone for. It's actually gone heavy into regen. So, I mean, Twisted Fate at that nebulous, I believe, 5-10 range, obviously worrying about the guaranteed damage coming through from the Sand Soldier trades and respecting with a heavy regen start. Not Doran Ring, not even Boots 4 pots. It's actually the full regen start.
Yeah, just wants to keep himself safe, I guess, and we'll see what he decides to go for.
You can see the damage coming through with the trades. Every time he goes in for a blue card, a red card, whatever, pick a card he picks, taking a lot of trade damage.
Yeah, it does manage to get that last minion a little bit low there, but doesn't pick up the CS as Raphael now able to push back, but Pawn still definitely doing fine as far as that farm is concerned. Drizzle is going to pay another visit towards this mid lane, though, and Trinket Ward is going to spot him out as Raphael has gone very aggressive, completely out of mana here as well, as Pawn turns around and hits him with a blue card and does a fair bit of damage. Of course, the highest damage dealing card. So when your TFs are not locking in the gold cards, it might be because they just want the extra damage.
And Drizzle definitely tries to make his presence felt in mid. They want to get Pawn to use one of his offensive summoners or movement summoners defensively in this situation. So at level 6, Azir can't control the roam. If you don't have Flash available, you probably won't get the secondary gold card or the follow-up CC through from the Twisted Fate. So making him use a defensive summoner, okay, on the obvious level gives you more kill pressure, but just taking away from the power of the level 6 roam is also a side benefit for EP.
Yeah, and this has meant that a lot of pressure there towards the mid lane, but means that Koro does have the opportunity to farm there on the top side. Amazing J has got some wards down now, but still sitting only on 4 CS here as Mako is being a nuisance here on the bottom side. Deft able to freeze out this wave, just tanking it up.
And compare the freezes that have been going on in the relevant levels. 13 to 4 CS tells you that Deft, unsurprisingly, is a master of freezing the lane, and even Scion, with a lot of ranged wave clear, hasn't been able to pick up any creeps.
Yep, none at all, as Koro, you can see, just rampaging through his wave there on the top side.
He's already able to shrug off a lot of the damage coming out from one of the strongest early duelers in Graves, and you have to think it's only going to get worse. I feel like EP need to start rotating now, because you cannot sustain a 23 to 4 CS advantage between top laners.
Man, he's going to go back with about 770 odd gold. He's going to be able to pick up a few more items. Actually finishes off the Balmy Cinder there as well. Picks up a few health potions as well as Pawn. He makes his way back to lane. Actually decides to go, in fact, for that Sheen as his first item pickup. Incredibly aggressive after the super defensive very early start.
Actually, a lot of TF players have been moving towards maybe the CDR boots first, or just starting with a Fiendish Codex, or even some double Dorans for laning phase. This item tells you that he wants to get the damage off in one of his ganks. He's been able to keep both summoners off. Twisted Fate has ensured that his first gold card is going to be playing a lot of damage on a Destiny. He's going to port back now with no mana and just look for his options in other lanes. At the moment, only Graves really strikes me as a relevant option, especially when Hecarim picks up the Onslaught of Shadows.
Yeah, and the Balmy Cinder is here as well, so able to help him with his pushing of the wave. But with the Boots 1 pick up from Pawn, probably looking to try and get his Destiny down now as soon as possible. Raphael looking to push this wave back out, completely even on the farm as far as these mid laners are concerned. Drizzle sort of looking for Pawn, but doesn't find him. And the bottom lane for EDG are still just hanging out. Of course, the BF Sword already been picked up now for Zhang Yao, as he's going to head back towards the bottom side of the map. Some standard lanes now going to ensue as EDG not going to give up too many early dragons here this game with that lane swap or anything like that.
And Pawn's still getting heavily harassed. You can see that the extra potions and biscuits were definitely necessary to navigate. Hasn't picked Twisted Fate for lane, clearly is picking it for the roam. But so far, so good in terms of Destiny usage. No Destinies in the first 8 minutes. Means that no global pressure put out yet by EDG.
All right, EP still hanging on, of course, behind a little bit in gold that has just come from the fact that they haven't been farming out these waves quite as well, and you have to think that most of that going to be towards the top side.
I mean, surprisingly, Nunu actually has double the CS of Jarvan.
My
Usually
goodness.
a single target jungler. For him to pick up just that many camps is a big surprise. I know Drizzle's been paying a lot of attention to the mid lane, but level 6 to level 4, I have to say, I should have been watching his pathing a bit more specifically because I just don't understand how there could be such a massive discrepancy.
Yeah, 500 gold in the lead as well, purely off that farm. And so Clearlove just really having his run of it here, now paying a visit towards the top side. The pings are out on the red buff. Koro's going for a bit of a roam as there's the Destiny Drizzle. You are in so much trouble. Doesn't have anything, and first blood going to go to Pawn.
And he's going to stay level 4. Another buff stolen away. Definitely is going to be able to pick up the blue buff for himself. That's what Raphael needs. Drizzle had a horror game last game, you notice, and it looks like it's only going to get worse in game 2.
Yeah, it does seem to have started definitely worse.
I mean, the big deal here is that the only person to hold down Pawn is the gank pressure from Jarvan. It's almost irrelevant when he's level 4. At this present point, even Pawn on a champion like Twisted Fate, not known for early burst, is going to be able to out-trade the Jarvan and even have kill pressure on a Jarvan 1v2, 1v1. So Twisted Fate looks like he's going to be on a pretty long leash this game, and that's never good when we're talking about Pawn on that champion.
Yeah, but we did just see Raphael push him out pretty effectively in that wave as Django actually going to get a decent, massive buckshot there as well as Mako able to stun him up there for a moment. But the trade definitely going well here for EP. He's deft. He's going to pop some potions here as well, even on the items as far as the damage is concerned. But Deft definitely squishier here at this stage. You have to respect the burst coming out from Graves at the level 6, level 7 mark.
And speaking of burst, it will be the Lichbane first coming through from Twisted Fate. It looks like Deft and Mako trying to keep the EP bottom lane in lane, despite the fact that Destiny's not available for another 90 seconds or so. Just trying to harass and stop the big buys from coming through. 9 CS lead built up by Deft. Again, never should be surprised when it comes to CS, whether it's denying enemy CS or picking up himself. That's pretty good at League of Legends.
He is definitely pretty good at League of Legends. That is something that will always remain true as the Chomper's going to come through there as well. Tibbers comes down. Collateral damage there, though, so Deft not wanting to stay in this fight, and that smoke screen doing a whole lot of work. Mako does have the stun charged up. Drizzle paid a visit here as well. Super Mega Death Rocket gets Zhang out. Beautiful shot.
That is just poor play from EP. I'm going to call out Drizzle again. It feels harsh, but just stand in front of your AD carry. Stand, 500 units in front. Ensure the AoE's not going to hit him, because even though it's speculative, it was obvious there was kill pressure coming through from the Super Mega Death Rocket.
Yeah, and Deft had hit that level 6. They knew that it was right there. They knew what was available.
He had the mana for it. They had all the information, just played very, very poorly around it. Amazing J with the awkward decimating smash. Going to take a lot of trade damage, and look who's here.
Yep, Pawn ghosting up towards this top side. There's going to be the ultimate used, but oh my goodness, the perfect use of the onslaught of shadows means that Amazing J can't do anything. He's running away from the horse, and Pawn, he's going to protect him here as well. So that is 2 for 2 on the Destiny front.
But I believe that Pawn flashed in front of it as well. Not sure which one registered first, but of course, interrupting that channel of the unstoppable onslaught, picking up the kill. Pawn 2-0-0. Definitely going to have enough gold for the Lich Bane now for even more burst damage. And man, this game went from bad from worse much faster for EP. Already 4,000 gold behind.
And Clearlove sort of just, I'm going to sit in this tri-bush, and they do know that I'm there, of course. I saw a Janna.
I mean,
so
Nunu doesn't give any cares this game whatsoever.
No cares.
Level 7, he's got the Cinder Hulk. He's already naturally tanky. He probably ate a Gromp at some point for the extra percentage maximum health. And EDG, they're just going to walk to a victory, you have to think. I hate to proclaim a game over 11 minutes, but against a Twisted Fate with no lane control, all lanes winning, looking pretty good.
It is definitely looking good for EDG, but all things considered, not over at this stage, despite the fact that they have a Jinx who is ahead in lane.
I mean, Jinx is ahead, Hecarim's way ahead. At this point, nice CS advantage coming through from Raphael, but no lane control whatsoever on Pawn. A little bit of kill pressure, as we've seen from the trades, which are definitely looking good. But at some point, all the other lanes winning is going to start to overfill even to Raphael's lane, and the Destinies have been on point.
They have, and we'll see whether Pawn's going to continue that one, of course. Games can always be thrown, but probably not by EDG, and we haven't seen that happen in the past. Is Deft and Mako going to take down the Krugs here on this bottom side, continue that CS advantage? Lich Bane, as you mentioned, is going to be completed here by Pawn, so a whole lot more burst damage to come through. But of course, with the slight nerf to that item, not as strong without any other AP there as well.
I mean, it's obviously exited the meta in a lot of ways. We saw lesser. Oh, there's the burst.
Yeah, Tib is coming through there as well. Oh my goodness, is the Super Mega Death Throw going to be available? Doesn't need it as the auto attack comes down as well. Mako is still very, very low, but it doesn't matter as Deft is going to force the flash there out of Shu, who is so damn low. Pawn does have Destiny. We'll see whether he manages to pick up the kill here onto the Janna, who's moving up towards a turret. Clearlove is hanging around, but Pawn just does a little bit of a loop and heads back towards mid.
It doesn't have his summoners available, so knew it would be at best a 1-for-1 trade. Probably smart not to go for it. They're going to get this turret in bottom. Another kill credit going to come through to Deft. I mean, the Lich Bane rush is interesting. It's come back into the meta. It was definitely Morellonomicon or Athene's, 20% CDR was the big choice. Then Hetong from Vici Gaming has been loving the Lich Bane rush just to start with the split push. And to be honest, with Sion so far behind, Graves not doing very well himself, getting out of this mid lane, out from the perma push and poke from Azir into a side lane is probably going to suit Pawn just fine.
Most definitely. Koro, Decimating Smash is there. Amazing J moves the wrong direction. Someone should talk to Koro about how that actually works. That was very, very strange, that interaction, but does have his Cinder Hulk completed now with the Skirmisher's Saber as well. So doing his best jungler impersonation there from the top side of the map. And Clearlove paying a visit here as well. Drizzle was pinged out. Of course, they seem to know exactly where Drizzle is throughout this entire game, but Raphael, he has been the shining light here for Energy Pacemaker as the Destiny comes through in the bottom lane. Man, this use of the chompers just looks broken coming through from Deft.
That's why you see so much Jinx Annie, is that you do have perma CC coming through from the Annie spellcast into the chompers. It's 3 seconds of CC, especially after a few levels with Twisted Fate thrown in. It's basically permanent CC because, of course, the cooldown on the picker card is very, very low. And the kill pressure onto Graves, it's basically infinite at this point.
It's silly, and the Infinity Edge now completed with a Brawler's Glove for Deft as well. 146 CS to 113. He is so far ahead on this hyper carry, who should have been kept down in this laning phase by the Graves. You have to think, of course, one of the lanes that has seen a lot of success here in the LPL has been the Janna Graves lane. Not going to be the case this time, as Raphael going to try and clear out this minion wave. Sand Soldiers are going to help him out with that one as Mako does complete the kill onto that pink ward.
But I guess we can't be too surprised. It is first versus last as Drizzle's going in very aggressively.
That was super aggressive as the Cataclysm comes through as well. Dodges the Super Mega Death Throw as the heal comes down, but oh my goodness, Shenghao manages to pick up the kill, and Mako, oh dear, doesn't have the flash.
There's plenty coming though.
Yep, Clearlove here with the absolute zero. The Annie's still alive, and oh my goodness, Shenghao just gets torn apart. Pawn's going to get exhausted. Locks a gold card, looks for Raphael as the double kill comes through. Oh my gosh, not yet as Raphael picks up the kill. May have been baited a little bit too far forward now as Amazing J just getting ignored. just wants someone to talk to here as the quadra kill comes through for Koro. Massive stuff by the horse.
Yeah, Sion looking for someone to love, dies for the second time during that fight. Nothing he could do. Pawn gets going again. They hecker him even more scarily. Just a longsword towards the Trinity Force, but now 4-0-1. Going to have a few more items.
Yeah, and this is exactly what Pawn did. Koro's just saying, oh, okay, so that's how you get ahead in the mid-game. You kill 4 people in a team fight. Okay, let's do that.
And we'll watch the replay coming through. Mako lived for so long during this fight, it's comical. So they go straight on to death. The anti-synergy, I'm helping Jarvan, stops Sion from getting the kill. They do burst down Deft, which feels great, but there's plenty of cavalry literally from the Hecarim coming in. At this point, Pawn just skirts the outsides of the fight with Ghost going. Watch Mako in the back. He falls super, super low. But the consistent damage from Pawn through an exhaust. He's got CC for days. He's got poke damage. This is what Twisted Fate does best. He's not the best when it comes to burst damage, but consistent long fights. That's why you take double summoners. You just kill people. And Amazing J looks for the hug in that situation. That's all the Decimating Smash is going to be. And we'll go on to die.
Yep, the little cuddle. And now another Destiny comes through, and Drizzle is dead. Most definitely dead. Super Mega Death Rocket not going to find anything, though, as Def tried to steal that kill away, but not going to be happening. 3-1-2, though, still pretty happy as the Berserker's Greaves have now been completed. Deft on full turret destruction mode, or at least attempted, as these Sand Soldiers are going to thwart that particular playstyle. 8,000 gold the lead for EDG. Is Koro going to split push?
And I think at the end of this game, it will be a 39-5 season coming through in the 44-game season of the LPL for EDG. They have been so, so dominant. Only one team with a winning record against them, Atlas. Quick bit of trivia. Which team has a winning record against EDG in the LPL?
Is it Snake?
It is Snake at 3-1. They are the only team with a winning and even an even trade of games. They're 3-1. The only team to have a favorable split against EDG. Might be a relevant statistic coming into semifinals, but every other team definitely looking to avoid this EDG team. They're looking so, so strong.
Oh my goodness. Beautiful use of the cleanse there by Raphael. Still going aggressive as the Emperor's Divide comes through. Pawn going to flash out of the way. Tries to get the kill. Oh, doesn't try. Picks it up there onto Raphael as Amazing J now in a whole lot of trouble. That was a 2v1 while Clearlove was picking up the Dragon. And Pawn, he's unstoppable.
Well, that's the thing. You talk about the fact that TF doesn't have burst. When you're 4-0-5, so much gold already banked. Of course, have the loaded dice passive.
I didn't talk about
even
that.
more gold. This is what happens. You get plenty of burst damage. It was, of course, me, Atlas. I was referring to myself in the third person, as you do.
Understandable. I
smell what the papa is cooking.
I hope not. I'm not entirely sure what I feel about that statement.
It's analytical. Don't worry about it.
Okay, good. Shanghai, they're going to try and pick up these creeps underneath the turret, sort of wondering what to do with himself here, as he does have the Infinity Edge completed. Not too far behind as far as those items are concerned. Of course, only a Brawler's Glove here, but Deft is going to go back to base and rectify that situation. Almost.
Most of a Phantom Dancer coming through.
How much gold is he away from a Phantom Dancer, Papa?
He's a dagger and the combined, so I would guess 900 gold.
970?
970, look at you. You're very on top of your AD carry items.
That's all I know. Money amounts based on silly little items. Speaking of money,
this Hecarim banking the big cash dollars with the Trinity Force. That
the outright.
He's got Trinity Force, Cinderhulk, and the Home Guard boots at 19 minutes. That is utterly disgusting amounts of damage coming through. And just gold that's been able to be spent. Everyone is so, so strong. EP, I mean, this is realistically, as the 12th place team, they're probably the least likely to come through the LSBL promotion tournament. This might be their last hurrah for 2015, so I don't know if they want to surrender at 20 minutes, but 11,000 gold with the fact that, I mean, this is 5.6 where turrets give even less gold.
Oh my goodness. He tried to use the Destiny to stop the ultimate from Amazing J as the Decimating Smash comes through. Pawn's not finished.
To die.
Yep, actually, Amazing J is here. The exhaust comes through onto Pawn. He's trying to make something happen. Does have the Zhonya's available, of course. We'll see exactly what happens here as we get this one underway.
The potential is very, very high in this situation, Alice. I'm not liking it for the Janna, who came for the drive-by kill pad, as far as I can tell.
Well, what actually did happen was that Jinx got a double kill in the bottom lane.
Oh.
So, didn't even see whether Pawn survived or died on that one, I am afraid.
It's not been a good game for EP. The first game looked a bit competitive. The early advantage was towards EP.
Yeah.
But I believe we're going to have the surrender come through, Atlas.
Oh, unfortunate. 20 minutes rolls around, and Energy Pacemaker, they tap the mat. But you have to think that there was no way they were coming back into that game. You actually proclaimed it fairly over very early on in that one, and I don't disagree because EDG just look completely unstoppable throughout the entirety of the LPL. And as you mentioned, what was it? 35 games to 5 losses? 35 wins? 39 to 5. Oh, I apologize. Of course, it is a 44-game season, ladies and gentlemen. If there's one thing I should be able to remember, it is pretty static statistics like that one. So 39 to 5, pretty good here for EDG.
Yeah, 44 times 12 is the amount of games that we will be seeing played this. Actually, a little bit less than that. My math is also off today, Atlas. But it is our last game of the night. EP, they just couldn't get it done against EDG. Not a surprising result, we have to be said, but the result is the EP. They go into the promotion tournament. They have the worst seed. They're going to face the strongest of the LSPL best of the rest. I believe it's positions 3 to 6 in the LSPL because, of course, the top 2 teams from the LSPL were auto-qualified.
Well, we'll see how that one does work out. But ladies and gentlemen, we are finished for this evening. On behalf of myself, Papa Smithy, Spawn, and of course, Pastry Time, and our whole production crew here, thank you very much for watching, and we'll